Dear friends, I wonder if you can relate to my struggle. I start out sitting on the couch, Bible and prayer journal in hand, and I realize that I don't have a pen, so I get up and walk over to my desk, and the phone rings. 2 hours later, I realize I never made it back to my prayer time, but instead have reorganized the desk, answered several emails, and put the bins out. When life was unusually busy or too hard to handle, where did Jesus pray? What can we learn from him? In Luke chapter 6, verse 12, we find the following words. One of those days, Jesus went out to a mountainside to pray and spent the night praying to God. This short verse answers both our questions. Where did Jesus pray? He would pray on mountainsides, in gardens, in the desert. How? He would sit with God the Father in his creation. He would pray surrounded by nature. He would pray with nature. How can we do something similar in Manchester in 2021? Well, even if we don't go out or don't have a garden, we can still pray with a piece of nature. A piece of nature might be a plant, a bunch of flowers, a pine cone, a shell, or simply a photo of any other natural thing. Alternatively, we might choose to pray with something we see online, such as a video of wildlife. I like to pray with photos of nature, pictures like this one. I find a space where I can be alone and get comfortable. If my attention strays, I quietly return to my piece of nature. I take my time. I do whatever helps me to become still. I ask God to draw me into this experience with an open heart and to guide me. I gaze on my photo and let go of things around it. I sense how God is gazing on me as I gaze on God's piece of nature, his creation. Where does my eye focus first when I look at it? Then, where does my eye travel to? I take in the whole of the piece of nature. I notice colors, forms, textures, patterns, light, shade, contrasts, movement. What words or phrases would I use to describe what I see? Does this piece of nature have a sound? Can I imagine a sound? What does my piece of nature smell of? Can I imagine a smell? If possible, I touch it. If I can't, a memory might come to mind of touching or being touched by nature. I notice this memory. I use my imagination to place myself in my photo, in my piece of nature. I become different forms or parts of it, and I sense where I am most comfortable. Where do I find rest? Then I imagine this piece of nature can speak. I listen to it. What does it say to me? I stay with what most affects me, what most invites me. I speak to God present in me. I try to name what is emerging. I listen to God and rest in His loving presence. Then I gently withdraw from prayer. It can be very refreshing to pray with nature while imagining God, Jesus, sitting right next to you. There are a few distractions when you focus your attention on a photo or an object. I wonder, what piece of nature would you choose? I wish you a restful, peaceful week.